Hey again, folks. Joe DeSanto here. Thanks for joining me. So, I'm doing a little bit of content around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You might say I'm a little late to the party on this kind of content, but as of March 2024, definitely we are in the signs of being in the new bull market for cryptocurrency. By the way, if you're interested, I offer one-on-one and group coaching via Zoom in the areas of personal finance, small business, investing, and Quicken. See the link in the description for information. If you want to get a sense of what the cryptocurrency market has been doing, if you're like, hey man, wow, new bull market, maybe I should get in on this if you haven't been, go over to, I look at Coinmarketcap a lot. There's a lot of services that give charts and all that, but this is a good one. So go check out Coinmarketcap and just go look up Bitcoin and look up the all-time chart of Bitcoin. And you can see all the way back here, 2010, Bitcoin was 6 cents. Man, if you could only have gotten in back then. Some people did. Some people started mining Bitcoin out of the gate. I guess, they were really just ahead of their time. And, not that much happened, but over the years here, it was getting talked about. I remember back in, I think, like 2000, I don't know, somewhere like 12 or 13, my assistant was like, hey, have you heard of Bitcoin? She's like, I bought a few Bitcoin. It was like, they were like $100 a piece at the time. I was like, no, I don't know anything about Bitcoin. Man, I should have dug in a little deeper then. But anyway, moving on. First real big bull market was 2017 era, as you can see here. Then we went into dark times, 2018, just kind of flopping around. But, but moving up, I guess you could say the second bull market maybe was in 2019. Then we had COVID and it dropped down to, I think it got as low as, maybe 5,000 here. And then, boom, you started to see cryptocurrency, Bitcoin just go into this huge bull here, along with everything. I mean, stocks were going up like crazy. Basically, all markets got flooded with free money from, all the big giveaways of the COVID era, like, March 2020 to March 2021. And what ended up happening here, though, in this big bull market is, we had a lot more coins online at that point. Early on it was like Bitcoin, then Litecoin, then Ethereum, and then I did this other video I'll link to, or you'll just see about what is Bitcoin and what is blockchain and cryptocurrency in general. And I talk about my take on that, kind of evolution of Bitcoin and blockchain and how it's evolved. But if you go watch that, I talk about how once Ethereum came on the scene, like basically Bitcoin and its blockchain obviously were cool and people saw some potential value in it. But at some point, someone was like, you know what, this technology is really interesting. This sort of ledger technology that's decentralized and validated by all these computers all over the world. It's cool that we're validating that, this person owns this amount of Bitcoin and this person mined this amount of Bitcoin and this person's got a bunch of Bitcoin over here, blah, blah, blah. And the ownership of the Bitcoin is tracked. That's cool. But this ledger technology, this blockchain, could be used to validate so many other things. It could be used to track so many other things. It could have you could use it for real estate. You could use it for video games. You could use it for whatever. And I think in my layman's, understanding, Ethereum came on the scene with that in mind. They said, you know what, we can't use the Bitcoin blockchain for all that. It's just not built to be that. But let's build a new blockchain that will do more things. And those more things, doing more things, essentially is what became known or were smart contracts, essentially additional layers of usability or functionality or whatever you want to call it. And then everyone started building companies to do things with this Ethereum, ecosystem blockchain technology. And it's just, evolved from there. So in this, bull here, probably from 19 through 21, thousands and thousands of altcoins, which the word cryptocurrency and coin and blockchain gets used synonymously, correctly, incorrectly all the time, so it can be very confusing. Generally, altcoins are kind of fall within the large bucket of anything that's not a Bitcoin, coins that came after Bitcoin. But Bitcoin really is like a currency more so than anything else. A lot of these other coins are, I consider companies, more like a stock. You're buying stock in a company that's creating a technology that's being used on the Ethereum blockchain ecosystem. So a ton of coins popped up in that sense. But then someone said, you know what, Ethereum's awesome. It can do all these amazing things. The big problem with it is it's expensive to actually run, and it's expensive to do anything on. The fees to use Ethereum to achieve your goal are very high, prohibitively high. And then new blockchains were made from the ground up, probably, to say, let's do all these cool things and more, but let's do it cheaper. So Solana is a very, prime example of that, or Polkadot, Cosmos. And then some other people said, hey, you know what? We could shoot off of Ethereum and create more functionality and do things cheaper without having to create a new blockchain entirely from the ground up. That would be what Polygon is, also called an EVM, or an Ethereum virtual machine. So anyway, all this other stuff exploded, and in this huge run-up of blockchain, from the lows of COVID to all the way up to 60, then big crash down to 35, and then way back up to the top of the last bull, which was around November 2021, massive amounts of money were made in true, actually altcoin companies that were doing stuff, in total scam Ponzi scheme rug pulls that were just fake and just corrupt and pretty much made money for the scammers that created them, for meme coins that were not necessarily scams per se, but were always intended never to do anything but be traded as an instrument to make money on trading, like, Dogecoin or whatever. So much money was made by people who knew what they were doing, kind of in the know, in this time up to November. And then it all started to crash, and everyone thought, you know what, it crashed before, it's going to come back. And it came back a little, and then more and more people sold, probably people in the know, and now people down here, just people trying to, jumping out of the building. And it eventually, on average, almost everything outside of Bitcoin came down almost 90%. Bitcoin went down 75%. And then we've been sitting in the cold winter of the bear market, basically from November 2021 to November 2023, honestly, or October 2023. And we started to see some boom in the market, both in the stock market in general and in the cryptocurrency market in October 2023. At the time, it was like, oh, is this just basically a head fake, or like a fake rally based on interest rates, being the Fed coming out and saying inflation's under control, we're going to start turning rates around, rates go down, usually markets go up, especially risk-on markets. And we started to see real movement. And some of the real small coins that took huge hits, like 99%, but were actual real companies with real technologies that could, essentially the Amazons from 2000, Amazon 2001, but of today, like after the big crash, tech crash of the late 90s, early 2000s, when the NASDAQ lost 85% of value, you could buy Amazon stock for $1. Off its high, probably at that time, of like $100. And, obviously if you bought Amazon at $1 in 2001, you're pumped. So that, a lot of those kind of companies that have hung through the bear and actually are doing things, you've seen huge upticks. I mean, 10x, 20x even. Bitcoin is obviously from its low of about 18,000 here in November 22, 16,000 even, is up fourfold. So People are feeling, they're hoping that this is the next bull market and we're going to see Bitcoin go to 150,000. God, some people say 250,000. Largely what potentially is driving, at least that move in Bitcoin, is the adoption of ETFs of spot Bitcoin. Or when I say spot Bitcoin, I mean ETFs that own the coin, just like an ETF that owns gold. And those ETFs by BlackRock and ARK, they have made it possible for a tremendous more amount of investable funds to find its way into Bitcoin. And when the Bitcoin fever takes off for all these new people, the thinking is that fever is going to trickle down to the small coins, and the small coins really can go crazy. The small coins are the ones that, you know, can do the 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. And so that's what all of us that have been hanging around cryptocurrency for the last couple of years have been waiting for. We will see if it actually comes to fruition. It might be one of these here, you know, like big move, and then we lose half a Bitcoin value, and then it pumps again. Who knows? You never really know, but it looks like possibly we're in, you know, what could be a new bull market. And honestly, by the time we can truly say we're in it, we'll probably be close to it being over. That's the unfortunate part. Every time you think like I'm here, it's happening, you're like the last person there. There have been people waiting for this for 2 years. So I don't know. I hope we're in one. I was sort of a buy and holder person, which, you know, I regretted obviously after we lost a lot of value. But I did hold on and started to buy some more into those positions down here, luckily. And I've seen my crypto portfolio make some pretty nice moves in the last 3 months. Right now, we're definitely having at least a mini correction. We'll see if it ends up being a longer one. So I'm hopeful. And I got a few more cryptocurrency videos to come. Thanks so much. See you next time.